all of a sudden, the Western banks are in bed, completely in bed, with Sharia finance.
It means also funding terrorism, does it not? Terrorist attacks are coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hit multiple places in one day. Maybe soft targets include children. And we will have financed it ourselves.
Islamic finance has achieved something that military conquest could never do. The voluntary submission of Western financial institutions to Islamic law. This is the conversion of our assets into state hands, or not state hands, but private hands, just like in Saudi Arabia. The enemy is in our camp, in our financial system.
Trying to serve a notice to America and the world. Beware, everybody, we're coming after you. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
The big judgment is coming in the future, but the world is going to be judged so severely.
Joining me now is Patrick Wood of Technocracy.news, Technocracy.news. Patrick, welcome back to the broadcast. Thanks for being with us.
You bet. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
You've got a great article over here today. Own Nothing? The Great Islamic Finance Convergence. Sounds like you're going into Sharia finance. Is that right? Talking about Sharia finance?
Well, this is a big story. I wrote an article 18 years ago, believe it or not, 18 years ago about Sharia finance and how it was being married to Western bankers. Wow, was I surprised when I revisited the whole thing, when I started, thinking about asset-based tokens and tokenization of all assets in America. Well, that led me down a rabbit trail for sure. And then I read across my article from 2008 and 2007, and it just blew me away. You forget stuff along the way. Well, I do. Maybe you don't. You have a sharp memory, but this blew me away, and so I had to update the whole thing, and that's why I produced this article. The Great Islamic Finance Convergence. What's happened over the last 18 years is just stunning. Nobody was looking at this. I don't think anybody, we could have predicted it. I predicted it back in 2007, but it's been silently creeping up on us all these years. And all of a sudden, boom, here they are, front and center. And it's been stunning to me. I don't know what I can say.
And here's your article back in 2007, Global Banks Adopting Islam. Okay. 2007, You wrote that. Now, Logan, can you bring up any video clips of the dude in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in April of 2017, brandishing his weapons at us and everything and threatening us, which he did 7 months in prison for, according to the press? Because when we researched that, because we got such a pathetic response from the cowards in leadership in Sioux Falls, they didn't arrest him. They made us leave town. The cowards in Sioux Falls literally said, we're tired. We just got done doing a conference. We're going to spend the night in town. Oh, no, you're not. You're leaving. And they let the guy go home, and they said they were sitting on his house till we got out of town. And apparently they didn't want to do anything with this guy that made these threats to us at our conference because the press was outside. But I knew there had to be more to it than that, Patrick. And I went and I did a little research. Found out there seemed to be a lot of Saudi Arabia money sloshing around in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And then you have to look at all the banks that have set up shop in South Dakota. I think because their laws there allow for high interest rates, credit cards, etc. So I guess the question is this maybe an example? Is this perhaps an example of why banks are already complying or kowtowing and bending down to Islam, and thus elected officials who have these companies in their towns and states bend to them? They don't want controversy. They're pro-Islam because it's, in other words, money. Follow the money. Is that possible, Patrick?
It's not only possible, it's just happening. Period. There's no way you can get around it. at this point, you look at, well, this has been a force that nobody saw. We can talk about the Islamic invasion, like in Europe and in our country as well, with our border being unsecured, and all these people are here now. They're here in our country. They're going to do something eventually, but that was a straw man. What happened with this financial system? This has crept in unnoticed, and all of a sudden, the Western banks are in bed, completely in bed, with Sharia finance.
How's that look? How does that look? What does that mean? Then it means also funding terrorism, does it not?
It does, because Sharia finance requires 2.5% of the profits to be donated to Islamic charities. I say that quote unquote, right? A lot, maybe somebody has some alms given to them for legitimate purposes, but we know a lot of that money is going to go to jihad. That's why it's there in the first place. So what's jihad? Well, that includes terrorists as well as other things as well, but especially terrorism. So at this point, the Western banks selling Sharia-compliant products to Western citizens, including not, Muslim citizens, but also non-Muslim people as well. They are collecting, the banks at this point, they're collecting over, probably tens of billions of dollars each year to give to Islamic charities. Really? Are we financing somehow? Have we been roped into financing our own destruction?
Well, you just heard our last guest. You just heard our last guest, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
He says terrorist attacks are coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hit multiple places in one day. Maybe soft targets include children. And we will have financed it ourselves. And a lot of this is because the average American is more interested in becoming intoxicated with entertainment and hedonism than they are listening to the people on the walls shouting, "There's a train coming, get off the track. I can see the train coming, get off the track." Oh, we're called doom and gloom, killjoy. We're called intolerant, all kinds of things. I don't want this to happen, but I'm sorry. The average American has chosen to not pay attention by choice.
Yes. Listen to one concluding paragraph in this article that I wrote today or yesterday. Islamic finance has achieved something that military conquest could never do. The voluntary submission of Western financial institutions to Islamic law. Sharia compliance has become a competitive advantage rather than a regulatory burden. Western banks now compete to demonstrate their Islamic credentials and hire the most respected Sharia scholars for their boards. That's their Sharia boards. Who was paying attention to this along the way? I wasn't, obviously. But this is a huge thing. They're rolling around trillions and trillions of dollars of money and assets as well. And the
5.4 trillion. 5.4 trillion, you write in your article, Patrick.
Exactly. This is so stunning. The magnitude of it is just absolutely stunning. That's all I can say. These banks, they started out slow, and this whole thing started in 2006. There was no marriage before that of Sharia banking and Western banking. They were standoffish to each other. Then all of a sudden, Morgan Stanley got involved with Sharia banking when a free trade zone was created in Dubai, UAE, granting special privileges, no income tax, no taxes, no nothing. Just basically come and do anything you want to do. And Morgan Stanley says, oh, we could do that when here they come. Well, that legitimized Sharia banking in cahoots with Western banking. That was just a foot in the door. It was acknowledged at the time by Islamic bankers that this is the greatest thing that could ever happen to us, because now we have a foothold into the Western banking system. Okay? Mm-hmm. And here they are. Here they are, 18 years later. Now, they didn't take over the Islamic system. All the power and the money basically still resides in the Islamic countries. But we're the Western banking system is the one that's promoted this all over the world by selling their products, their Sharia-based products. Now, they don't do debt at all in Sharia law. That's not forbidden. It's forbidden because they don't charge interest. So if you want to buy an asset, for instance, you want to buy a house, you go to the bank and you let the bank goes out and it buys the house for you, and then it leases it to you. So there's no debt involved, right? Maybe you have a 20-year lease or a 30-year lease, it doesn't matter. But nevertheless, the bank owns the property and you get to lease it long-term, guaranteed. They can't kick you out if you keep paying the rent. Well, does this ring any bells here for anybody in our country? What's going on with all these homes that are being bought up by people like BlackRock and State Street and Berkshire? You know, what's going on here? Well, this is the conversion of our assets into state hands, or not state hands, but private hands, just like in Saudi Arabia. This notion of an asset-based system has infiltrated the Western world. Now we see it all over the place with these asset-based tokens. They're talking about Washington, D.C., tokenizing everything in sight, including our national heritage real estate that our country owns, I think 680 million acres of land. Something's wrong with this picture.
Yep.
You see, nobody saw this coming. Now we have, the enemy is not just standoffish to us. The enemy is in our camp, in our financial system. And who's going to win? The old saying, whoever owns the gold makes the rules.
Which makes me wonder, Patrick, if at the end of the day, I've been saying this the last few months, Islam is going to play a bigger role in the last days than I think many of us have.
Yes. You bet. I can guarantee this at this point. Look, everywhere Islam goes, it carries its philosophy with it, right? So if Sharia banking has spread, that gives them a foothold to introduce Sharia law everywhere they go. You see what's happened in Texas, for instance, the city in Texas. They're implementing Sharia law. How about all the communities?
You're talking about this clip we've played a little bit of today. Listen here, just remind our audience, for those who maybe don't know. You hear this?
This is the beginning of the campaign. We're serving notice to America and the world that it's time. Enough is enough. The Muslims, the people who call themselves Muslims, should not be selling haram in their stores. The pork, alcohol, and the gambling, it needs to stop. And this is a sample of the signs that we will be using to demonstrate as we launch this demonstration on, is that we are giving dawah. We're giving dawah to the people. And the more dawah that we give, the more people accept Islam. And the more people accept Islam, the less demand there will be for stores just like this that don't have any rules, no limitations of what they sell. So we're going to launch this. Beware, everybody. We're coming after you. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
That's in Texas.
Crazy. So money and ideology follow each other. That's all I'm saying.
So wait till those banks turn this all off on gas stations that are selling pork and doing gambling.
Well, you have to wonder what's the talk about regulating and controlling cryptocurrencies vis-a-vis purchases, like what you can buy with them. Well, you can see this has happened. This is what the Islamic world has been doing with their fintech industry. They're huge in financial technology. It's called the whole industry called fintech at this point. They're huge in fintech, and they've already perfected,
which stands for financial technology, right?
That's right. They perfected the art of accounting for or programming these tokens in their country. You can't spend it on anything related to their forbidden things like tobacco, pork. Okay, pork. They don't eat pork, and alcohol. This is a moral facade, but you get the point. They want to enforce their morality, but in the end of it, it has nothing to do with those things. It will be the stripes on your back that you get when you're flogged in the town square for crossing these people.
Yeah, well, I think the mark of the beast system and so much about Islam, like I said, is more involved in the last days than I think many Bible scholars and end-time writers have realized. People being killed with the sword, too. That makes you wonder, is that symbolic or is that real? I think it might be real. Who kills people with swords? I think it's Islam, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Let's go to that video, Logan. This was what happened to us in our Worldview weekend in April of 2017 in the parking lot. That's fine. After the dude came into our conference, then he was removed by my private security that I hired, and then he sits out in the parking lot, makes these two more videos, and we couldn't figure out why the police department and why the different local officials seemed to be basically neutered. And I did the search later on how much Saudi money, and this guy was reportedly from Saudi Arabia, lived in Sioux Falls, how much Saudi money was sloshing around with all the finance and Sharia banking and credit cards based in South Dakota, question mark. Here we go, watch this.
So I'm kind of speechless here, man. The parking lot is full of people parking on top of each other. Ideal Yardware, whatever the place is parked, that's full too. And there's about probably 400 people in there, if not maybe 500. So you have your weapons with you. If you want to be really scared, be scared. Be scared. Be scared. Be scared. Terrified. Terrified. And the ammo to boot. Right here. That's how I travel. That's how I y'all. This is just shit. That's it.
Oh. Yep. And the cowards in the police department in Sioux Falls, in leadership, one of them, see if you can find the one where this police spokesperson came out the next day, Logan. He said that guy was simply practicing his First Amendment rights. We have it on video in one of our shows, Logan, where the police spokesman says that guy was just practicing his First Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. What a moron. Mm-hmm. And the guy ended up doing, I think, 7 months in federal prison. But we were the ones asked to leave town that night. We were tired and exhausted. We were asked the ones to leave while they sat on his house. Well, why were they sitting on his house? Why didn't they just arrest him? It wasn't until we turned it into an international story, literally. New York Post, CBS Los Angeles, Daily Mail, all kinds of them picked it up.
Yeah,
that they arrested him, and then he ended up doing, I think, 7 months for that. But I had to wonder, why are the police departments caving, the local officials? Well, my research showed Sharia finance, Saudi money,
yes, exactly.
Islamic money.
Exactly. Yes.
But at the end of the day, most of your officials in your states, folks, or most officials in your cities, if you're highly dominated by Muslims, they don't work for you, the taxpayer. They work for their Islamic masters. Okay? And I have to wonder how many of them have converted to Islam. I'm starting to question whether Tucker Carlson's converted to Islam at this point. I think it's a fair question. But how many of these elected officials have actually converted to Islam? I think Annie Cyrus will have something to say about that.
Probably. Exactly. Well,
and you got the Saudis, wasn't it the United Arab Emirates where they had that conference on world government? So clearly the Muslims are making the play for world government.
They are, but in particular, they're talking, the big thing that they want is Sharia finance, fintech. That's it. That's their part of the industry, because if they figure if they can control that, especially with the world going tokens all of a sudden, if they can control that, they can have a footprint all over the world with other systems of tokens. Mm-hmm. And you can just see the handwriting on the wall at this point. Could we say that somehow the Western bankers saw this coming and they're preparing to switch over to an asset-based system like the Saudi Arabia has, for instance? Well, maybe. I won't make that case at this point, but it's plausible. Mm-hmm. And if you consider what kind of pressure they could bring to a bank to do certain things, how much influence does the banking system have on all of Americans, all across the country? And this is not just giving money like to police departments and schools, that sort of stuff. That's bad enough. But if the banks are a lever for them to put pressure to do certain things, you can see exactly that. This is their play at this point. Yep. Once they can get the lever of pressure, then they'll use it. I think they're at this point right now.
Let's switch topics in the final moments here. And folks, you should check out that latest article at technocracy.news on Sharia finance by Patrick Wood. There are days I just cheer President Trump. Just yay. There are days I go, oh gosh, what is he thinking? Does the man have no discernment? Is he oblivious? And last week was one of those. What was it, Friday? He brings all these tech tyrants to the White House. Listen, watch this.
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing, and the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close. We don't need new science on that one. For some like HIV and sickle cell, we do need new science, but the U.S. Has the seeds that in the same way that Warp Speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone in Africa through AI. We want farmers to have incredible advice and kids to have a chance to learn. So the work being done by the people at this table is changing the world. It's coming fast, so it's great. We all get together and talk about how the U.S. can lead in this key area and apply it even to the poorest outside the U.S. as well as to our great citizens. So
So he gets to go to the White House, get a place of honor, and sit there and spew his garbage. Bill Gates, MD, Bill Gates, epidemiologist. I don't think so. And yet there he sits, along with Mark Zuckerberg, who was caught on a hot mic. He was caught on a hot mic. You have that one, Logan? While Patrick comments on this one. I mean, this is where I go, you know what? We're not so back. Okay, I'm sorry, folks, if you can't handle reality. This, I know like Steve Bannon, and I like Steve on a personal level. I know, I said this on radio today. I know Steve Bannon, these guys, in my opinion, like to sell you a lot of hope. I think it's false hope. The War Room Posse, we're doing this, we're doing that. Yeah, we're going to take this down. All this. Hey, look, if you want to market your show like that, have at it. It's a free country. We don't market our show with false hope. We base our show on truth. Okay? And the truth is, we are not so back, as everybody's been saying. I've been telling you guys since the day one when people are saying that. We're so back. Like, he's been in office 24 hours. He's been in office 6 months. We're not so back. We have jihadis on faith boards. Okay? We have so many things he's doing wonderful. We have so many things he's royally messing up. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Everything has not come down to money. Everything does not come down to art of the deal. And I'm sorry. I've said it, and I'll say it again, and I'm one of the few to say it. If he continues on this trajectory, he will go down as another George W. Bush at best. I mean, you just had to be ready to throw up the other night, Patrick, watching this. All these tech bros there at the White House. I did. Yeah. Why weren't you at the White House, along with a few others, Joe Allen and others, having dinner and explaining to him the truth? And then after that, you can have a dinner with all of us to help bring him up to speed on globalism and Islam. Exactly. Why is he bringing these clowns in?
Yeah, I know. I think...
He doesn't even have to do it publicly. We can do it quietly. We'll sign non-disclosure agreements. We won't talk about it. We will have no pictures. Quietly bring us in and we'll tell you what's really going on, Mr. President, because people are either deceiving you or lying to you. He didn't even know a lady had been stabbed in the neck in Charlotte, North Carolina. He didn't know that Putin's helicopter was being targeted a few months ago. The man is clearly in a bubble. He has so much he doesn't know, and not everybody knows everything. But he's making a lot of missteps. He really is. Patrick?
You're right. But I want to re-emphasize this has never been about politics. It's about economics. And the dogfight it's a perpetual dogfight over the years. It's been for 50 years, the same thing. The dogfight in politics has always masked what's going on the other hand. And this is legendary, in my opinion, at this point. This is the same thing today. All the hoopla, all the attacks on Trump, everybody's angry. Steve Bannon sells opium and other people sell whatever. And, it's all about, for them, it's all about politics. If we just get rid of the Democrats or the Republicans or whoever, get rid of them, then we'll be okay. Well, that's a false read at this point. It's a straw man. What's going on with this technocracy stuff? This is the story. These people have gotten away with murder, literally. And they're still there. Who was in charge in that meeting? Was it President Trump or was it these oligarchs? Who has the power there? Not really the president. I'll tell you, I guarantee you. Some of these together, these oligarchs, I think I saw a statistic like that represents like 60% of all the American wealth, and just the billionaires, almost the trillionaires. If Elon Musk was there, he would have added another $500 billion dollars. Who has the power in that room? It's not the president. I'm sorry.
No.
It's not.
And again, I hate to tell you this, audience, but there are all the signs God is judging this country and giving us over. The invasion, I mean, someone bring me a copy of my book, please. Bring me a copy of my book, Grave Influence. Is there a copy of Grave Influence over there? If not, folks, you don't need to buy it. Just go to worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube.com. A little short, fat book. The one down the bottom. Go to worldviewtube.com and then go to the vault and look under library, and you'll find all my books there as MP3s, or audiobooks, but also as what do you call them, PDFs. I don't have one of my own books, my own library over there. Oh, we have to remember to rectify that, won't we? All right, let me go to the ebooks, because I want to show Patrick something here that he knows and have him comment on this as we conclude with him tonight. Go to the ebooks over there at Worldview Tube, and I'm trying to bring it up here, but there we go. All right, now let's go to Grave Influence. And we're not Israel. America's not Israel. But there are only so many ways that God can judge a nation, right? And when I look at what's going on in America, I think, wow, these are certainly signs God's judging America. Look at this. Page 49 on Grave Influence. Deuteronomy 28. God says he'll be judging the nation of Israel because they would continue to disobey him. He would deny them prosperity and abundance, both in regard to their economics as well as their agriculture. Verse 24 describes drought. Many states in our country have been dealing with drought over many years, of course. Verse 28 describes confusion of heart. Many Christians today are Americans mixing Christianity with paganism. Loss of homes. Starting in 2008, Americans began experiencing historic home foreclosures. Now people can't even afford a home. 38, you'll carry a lot of seed out, but bring a little in. So he's talking about your crops. Now China owns a bunch of our land. Speaks of illegals invading you. Study shows that Americans are spending $346 billion per year. That number's low now. Leviticus 26 says, I'll point terror over you. We just had a guest tonight warning about massive terrorist attacks coming to the country. I'll break your pride of your power. We're not a superpower anymore. I'm sorry, folks. America doesn't rule the world. As much as Donald Trump wants to try to dictate to other people, America is no longer an economic or military superpower. Famine. Hard to imagine America, but they know how to get a hold of our just-in-time inventory. That was in verses 20 and 26 there of Leviticus 26. They also speak, verse 22, of extreme economic distress and again, invasion of enemies, destruction of our cities, verse 31. Then you go to Romans 1 and all the signs that God is giving over our country. I'm sorry, America's not back. America's under judgment. I think we're at a tipping point. We're going into the New World Order. And someone said today, emailed and said, well, if that's what you believe, Brandon, then why are you on the air? Well, that's a very foolish question. Because nowhere does it say we're on the air to make America great again. That's not my life's mission, to make America great again. My life mission is to go ye therefore into the world and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them how to live. That's biblical evangelism and discipleship, biblical worldview, applying all areas of the Bible to all areas of life. And so why am I still on the air if I believe America is being judged at a tipping point? Because evangelism and discipleship. How shall we now live through these times? How shall we live? What is the role of the church, even in times of God's judgment? God's looking for, I believe, people that will speak truth in this dark, dark culture. And many are seeking truth. And many will come to be believers in the Great Tribulation. The Bible says so many are becoming believers, you can hardly number them. That's horrific, horrible times like the world's never seen. Yeah, look at all the people becoming Christians. You see, even in the worst days of America, it could be the best hour for the church if the church will just be the church. And I'm sorry, I appreciate a lot of what Donald Trump is doing, but we're too far in now. I can see where he's going. America's not back. We are not going to restore the republic. That's clear. We are heading into not the golden age, but a very dark age where Islam is growing. It's rampant. We're going into digital technocracy and tyranny. And people can sell you, as he said, hopium, and you can be disappointed and not know how to respond and be left discouraged and despondent. Or you can have someone like me tell you the truth. And somebody may get angry and turn off. Then the program's not for you. We're like the Marines, the few, the proud. This program is for people who are thinkers and who want to live and understand the times and know what God would have us to do. We're not back. They're not restoring the republic. Are they doing some good things? Yep. Buying us some time? Yep. But we are being turned into a new system. And Islam is rising, and they're taking part in this new system. You want to comment? Do you disagree with any of that, Patrick?
No, but I look at the Old Testament as an example of God's character.
Yep.
And all the things he did to Israel along the way. And don't forget the flood, and don't forget Sodom and Gomorrah. That was judgment. They wiped it clean, right? And when you look at those examples, we should all take note. God is going to exact vengeance on the world at some point, not just on America especially, but on the whole world. And I don't think the world and people in the world, maybe some Christians have an idea because they read the book of Revelation, but I think the world has no clue what they're headed towards. If they did, they would change direction immediately. Mm-hmm. But the world is going to be judged so severely. You're talking earthquakes, all the mountains and the whole world being flattened, all the cities of the world being flattened, all the water systems in the world being poisoned. And you can't make this stuff up. This is what the Bible says. There's going to be a day when all these systems and the people are judged for what they've done.
And I think the stage is being set for that right now, don't you?
It is. It is. I'm not so worried about America, although you can see signs of America's crumbling all on its own. We don't need divine a push, for us to fall at this point. We're falling under the weight of our own sin in this country. Sin has just decimated our country, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere you look. So that's probably enough to just put us in the garbage right now. But if God gave it a little push, that I could see that happening really, really fast. But the big judgment is coming in the future. People have no clue, and it's unfortunate that they don't know. And certainly the world doesn't know. Most Christians don't, but the world doesn't have a clue what God is going to do in the future because of their antics today. Mm-hmm.
And you're so right, and we're looking for political and economic solutions to spiritual problems. Mm-hmm. We're looking for political and economic solutions to spiritual problems. And our economic and our political and our national security problems are all rooted in the spiritual problems. We thumb our nose at God and we think he's going to bless us. Yeah. We make alliances with terrorist organizations and think that's going to work out. We celebrate the LGBTQ thing in our schools and indoctrinate our kids and think that is somehow is benign. And now we have LGBTQ trans mass shooters every time we turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just keep going. There's a lot of blame to go around, but a lot of it belongs in our own lap too, right? As parents, as Christians. So the country, though, has had so many opportunities, but even with the slogan, "Make America Great Again," the reason America, I think, was great was because we had a reverence and a respect and an awe for God. Mm-hmm. We had a fear of his righteousness and his holiness. And we understood that if he was going to bless us, we had to obey him. And we don't seem to have that. We have kicked God out of our schools. We give him lip service now. We talk about him in a lip service kind of way. But so rarely do we have leaders, pastors, or politicians who will stand up and say, look, this is what This is what God himself has said, the one who even came up with the idea of government and family. This is what he says we should be doing and not doing. No, it's all about the latest poll, the latest survey. I'll just say it again. We're searching for political and economic solutions to spiritual problems, and we're not addressing the spiritual problems. But most of our leaders aren't Christians. By their own admission, they've never asked God to forgive them. By their own admission, they're trying to work their way to heaven. By their own admission, they have no discernment, spiritually speaking. And we think these are the people that are going to save America, make it great again. I'm sorry. I want America to be a good, successful country where we can be free and raise our kids and grandkids according to our biblical convictions. I want my kids to know private property and freedom. Those are great things. Those are biblical things but we're never going to have a solution if we think we can make a deal with the devil. And every time we turn around, that's what we're doing. We're making deals with people like the leader of Palantir, who's an open homosexual, I understand, who is obsessed with the Antichrist, who's now about to hold 4 sessions on teaching about the Antichrist, who himself could be on the short list, in my opinion, to be him. I don't know. It just seems really weird. And we're bringing in Bill Gates, as you say. These people, I believe, are responsible for the murder of I don't know how many people. And we're going to find solutions with these people? We think we can find solutions with these people. I mean, how stupid. And if this is the people that are going to save us, we're in big trouble. Patrick?
You're right. This salvation is not found in any man, in any system, in any other thing in the universe. Salvation is only found in the person of Jesus Christ, period. The founders of our country said we have a constitution that's suited for a moral population. We went immoral when prayer was kicked out of school, when the abortion industry was normalized, things like that. Along the way, we've tolerated sin, even to the point of dragging with cart ropes the sinners into the street to praise them.
Yep.
It's no wonder that we're where we are today. We can't reverse that at this point. There's no way we can go back to that normal state that we had as a moral country once upon a time. And it was never really, it wasn't never a Christian country, but there was a certain standard of morality that everybody pretty much adhered to, right?
There was at least a respect for Christians and Christianity and the Lord.
Exactly. And, people understood you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't steal from people, that sort of thing, crime. Well, this is all gone today. And now we're going to reap the consequences of our former sins. And the church, by and large, the church has been silent a lot of stuff along the way.
And RFK Jr., Patrick, seems to be saying this. Did you hear what he said the other day about AI and Bill Gates?
I'm not sure.
This is just from last week. Listen to what RFK Jr. just said.
In Canada, and this is what the future is going to look like. We should all take a warning of what they did, of what the Trudeau government did in Canada, when the truckers, who were incredibly peaceful and disciplined, went to Ottawa to participate, to protest the mandates. The government sent police in to read all of the license plates on all the vehicles, and then to shut off the bank accounts of anybody who was the owner of that vehicle. So these people were never charged with a crime. They were certainly never convicted. And the government was able to punish them by shutting off their lifeline, shutting off their capacity to buy food for their children, to pay their mortgages, to pay tuition, and to do it without any due process or democratic participation. And that's the power right now that we're seeing. And with AI, with the growth of AI, the capacity of government to control us is, will be complete. Now, Bill Gates says one of his companies is putting up 61,000 low altitude satellites to do Earth surveillance. He says that his company alone will be able to watch every square inch of the Earth at 24 hours a day. So, the capacity of people to escape that kind of surveillance and to live, free lives is going to be the power. Is what we're creating is this kind of turnkey totalitarianism. We're the next totalitarian regime that steps up and really wants to clamp things down. They're going to have all of these mechanisms in place like no regime has had it in human history.
Mm-hmm. Stunning.
We're the next totalitarian regime that steps up and really wants to clamp things down. They're going to have all of these mechanisms in place like no regime has had it in human history.
We're going to look back and realize that the Trump administration has set up the system to control every one of us. And that's his own Secretary of Health and Human Services. So all these people saying, oh, you're just being anti-Trump. No, I'm being pro-America. I'm being pro-freedom. And I'm warning you that the globalists picked Donald Trump and let him get in, thinking that just the way they swamped him with COVID and an Operation Warp Speed that he's now questioning, thankfully, that they could again swamp him and convince him to follow them by saying nice things about him. Apparently, Donald Trump is one of these guys that really has, like Bill Clinton, the strong desire for people to love him. He really wants people to really, really like him. And maybe they have figured out Donald Trump's weakness. And we're going to put him in power because he's a good salesman. The MAGA crowd will go along with it because there's no way Kamala Harris could do this stuff. It'll be a nightmare. Let's get Donald Trump to sell it. He could sell, anything to anybody. And we'll just say nice things about him so he feels loved and appreciated and respected. And he'll go along with us because he wants to be a part of our club. And we haven't really let him be, but we'll let him be a part of our club. And he'll do what we tell him. And that's what I think they're doing. And here you have RFK Jr. saying the very same thing we've been saying several weeks ago. We're going to look back at the Trump administration be the ones that put in the system that has robbed us of all of our freedoms. The way George W. Bush put in the Patriot Act.
Yep.
Patrick?
By the way, this was all conservatives that did it to us all over the years. It wasn't the Democrats that did it to us, but conservative presidents and administrations. For some reason, the technocracy oligarchs can get more done in a conservative environment than they can in a Democrat or liberal environment. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact at this point.
100%. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, read his brand new article. It's at technocracy.news, technocracy.news. Own Nothing, the Great Islamic Finance Convergence. Patrick, as always, it's great having you with us.
My pleasure. I'll always be there for you.
Thank you for what you're doing. And again, Patrick, we're here to proclaim the gospel and teach people how to live. And we are here to offer them hope, but not hopium, right? We're here to offer them the hope of Christ, salvation in Christ alone, and the hope of God's glorious victory over Satan, the Antichrist, the false prophet, and all of his evil followers that we see in Revelation chapter 19. So we're giving you hope, but I'm telling you, in the midst of the hope, we have to understand reality. Reality is, folks, we have been told America's back. We're going to make America great again, while they're using conflict and stories and things in our culture to distract us to not really see what they're doing. But like so many of you get it. So are we offering hope? Yeah, I just explained the hope we're offering. But we're also offering reality. So we have a job. We have a job, and we're doing our job. This is what the Bible's called for us to do, right, Patrick?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, how about let's make the church great again?
That's we need to do that. That's for sure. Oh, wow. Well, you'd have a lot of so-called pastors out of a job because they'd have to go. You know, if we got rid of the politicians and the pastors, quote pastors, that'd be a great start, wouldn't it?
It would, and you know, some of them are just hanging on by a thread. They want to. I sense some pastors kind of want to get away from all the namby-pamby stuff and tell it like it is, but they're afraid that if they speak the truth, their people will leave them in flocks. I don't think that's true. Honestly, I think the people want to have the truth. Don't blow smoke at me. Just tell me the truth, and I can deal with it.
Well, our numbers are going up. Our numbers are going up as a network.
Yes.
Why?
I know, so
we're not like Steve Bannon here telling you how the war room posse, we're coming, we're going to do the. We're not selling you hopium. I love that. That's great. We're telling you the truth, rooted in the Bible. And our numbers are going up.
Yes, indeed.
Technocracy.news. All right, guys, thanks for watching Patrick, as always, and reading his stuff at Technocracy.news. And, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, Patrick and Logan have their program, Technocracy.news, at 6 p.m. Central, guys, 7 Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursday. We'll be right back with Annie Cyrus right after this. July 6, 2005. This is Tom Harper. Man figures plankton stopped his rare cancer. We got more of a response from our viewers than anything else you and I have ever discussed.
Tom Harper, 20 years ago, he had mesothelioma, deadly lung cancer, was given weeks to live, and he just intuitively started to eat the phytoplankton out of his fish tanks because he fed the phytoplankton to his shellfish. He was a shellfish farmer. And when he went in for the surgery, the surgeon came out of the operating room and told his family, I have not ever seen anything like it. The cancer is benign, and Tom Harper lived for years. He retired in Hawaii. We're not making any claim.
Here he is in his own words.
Started on a daily routine of just taking a bit of paste, putting it in my mouth, and wash it down with a drink of water. Within about 10 to 15 days, here I am, less pain in my back. I knew that something was going on, so I just kept eating half a teaspoon of this paste a day. I was booked to go for surgery in Victoria where they were going to do what they call a talc treatment. They went in there to have a look, saw something they never seen before, took 11 sites, sent them away for biopsy. I got the news back. Everything was benign. They just did not know what to make of it. Everything was absolutely clean. And I've tried dieting all my life because I'm a diabetic. If it's a coincidence or not, I don't know. My blood sugar started dropping. My weight started falling off. Here I am, no longer requiring insulin, and I was taking 88 units a day of insulin. I can eat just about what I want in moderation, and I have no elevated sugar levels, and I feel fabulous.
People, you hear the word cancer, and they want you to be instilled with fear. Cancer is nothing but a profound failure of the immune system. And what happened with Tom Harper is the phytoplankton is microscopic. It's God's microscopic food. And the Gatatana is the most nutritionally comprehensive strain phytoplankton in the world. David Hunter studied phytoplankton for 20 years because he worked for Tom Harper, and he was there in person and witnessed Tom's recovery. It's about getting pure nutrition inside your cells. And what happens, your body balances again or goes back to homeostasis. And when your body is pH balanced or in homeostasis, disease can't grow. It is literally microscopic, pure single cell plant food with protein and omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, with amino acids and vitamins and minerals. 1 scoop a day. There's 90 billion plant cells in here just for everyday nutrition and energy and, cognitive support, because this is God's pure nutrition.
Go to melissahousegpa.com today. Discover the science and learn more about the wonderful benefits of Gatatana phytoplankton. That's melissahousegpa.com. melissahousegpa.com.